What is up, guys? It's Jeremy Rika here, and welcome to another edition of Soccer Beat. I, of course, am your host, Jeremy Rika, and today we're going to talk about something that I think is really important in the world of soccer. It's something that I see happen all too often, and it's something that I think will create a great discussion. I'm talking about how far as coaches do we go with our players? And do we sometimes go too far? And more importantly, is it the same thing as parents? I mean, we all have kids that play soccer, and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest sports in the world for kids to play. And that raises the question for me, how far do we go as coaches and as parents with our youth today? Because I'll be honest with you, I could list a lot of coaches that take the game a little bit too seriously. And if I'm going to be entirely honest with you and the rest of my viewers, I mean, I take it too seriously sometimes. It's only natural as a coach. I mean, it's natural to have that competitive spirit within you. It's natural to want to win the game. But the question is, how far do we go? And, you know, is it a case of sometimes we forget as coaches that, we do this for fun and it's got to be fun for the kids? So I guess, that's my question when it comes to those of you out there who happen to be coaches and you're really into the game. Do you take it too far sometimes? Because like I said, sometimes I do. I mean, sometimes you get wrapped up in the competitive and the winning and the numbers and the positioning, everything. So, that's my question to you as coaches is, are you always able to balance out the difference between being a coach and being a person who guides people to be successful? Because there is a difference. I mean, when it comes to youth soccer, yes, of course, we have to coach people. We have to, reprimand our kids sometimes. But at the end of the day, our biggest goal, especially with my soccer program, specifically our goal is focused on development. We don't worry about winning state titles. We don't worry about all that stuff. You talk to any of our coaches, and our main focus is developing these kids into the best soccer players that they can be, so that when it comes time for them to go to college and, go to high school, go to college, they're ready for that next step, because it's a huge, huge transition for some of these kids. So, I look at it as, I told you, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of taking that competitive edge a little too far, especially because, I've been around competitive soccer my whole life, so clearly it's easy for me to get wrapped up in what the winning and the scores, and, instead of worrying about the development of these kids. So, I understand that it's very easy to do, but the biggest thing for coaches everywhere to realize is, as much as we want these kids to do well and to succeed on the pitch, it's more beneficial for them to learn about the game and do it in a way where we don't have to reprimand them as much, and we let them focus on having fun with the game. Now, for those parents out there, I can tell you it's extremely difficult dealing with some parents, and if you're a coach out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that you have parents on your team that, they think their kids are the best thing that ever stepped out onto the field. And, it's only natural. It really is. It's only natural to think that way because it's your child. You think that they're good because it's your child. The thing is, we have to realize that it doesn't always work out that way. You're not always going to have your child playing all the minutes, scoring all the goals, because at the end of the day, you know what? It comes down to this. Soccer is a team sport. Okay, it's not centered on one specific individual. And that's my thing is that I tell my kids all the time, you're only as good as the player next to you. You're only as good as those 10 other players on the field, or if it's indoor 4 or 5 others on the field. So I try to instill in my parents that if you don't like what I'm doing, I understand, we can talk about it, but at the end of the day, you have to trust that I know what I'm doing. That's why we get the licenses. That's why we go forward with the training. That's why we do all the practices. You know what? That's why we do all that kind of stuff. And it's very difficult for parents to come to the realization that they have to relinquish control. And it's very difficult for people to come to the realization that I'm putting my child into somebody else's hands. But at the end of the day, this is why we pay money. Think about that. This is why we pay money. So I really look at this as a learning experience for both coaches and players because I look at it as this is why we do what we do. This is why parents sign their kids up to play. And this is why we as coaches coach the beautiful game of soccer. If we didn't like what we were doing, we wouldn't be doing it. So you know what? At the end of the day, listen, it's a matter of, don't get too involved with what you do. It's one thing to enjoy the sport, but it's a whole other thing to enjoy it to excess. Don't get me wrong, I love soccer, it's my passion. But you know what? Sometimes I have to draw the line with what I can and cannot do with my kids, and I have to do the same exact thing with my parents because they have just as a big part to play in this as I do as a coach. So to be honest with you guys, I'm just curious what you guys think. And have you experienced instances where coaches go too far or parents go too far? And what did you do about that experience? How did you manage that experience? That's what I would like to know from you guys. That's it for this video, but if you like this video, please click that like button. Please click that subscribe button. Be a part of the Rika Soccer Beat family. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.